Welcome back to the Good Leader Podcast. I'm your host, John Martinez, and today is going to be the first episode of a series that I'm starting calling Midweek Mastery, where I'll go deep into a leadership topic. I'm not going to try to make it too long, maybe 15, 20 minutes, where I just kind of talk about a leadership topic and get into some points and some problems and solutions for that problem, and then I'll wrap it up. But this is going to be the first episode in that. So, hope you like it. Hope you support. And the topic of today's conversation is going to be the power of adaptability and leadership. And some of the 5 key bullet points that I wrote down was to embrace change. Successful leaders are those who can pivot, adapt quickly in the face of uncertainty, staying ahead of the curve. Number 2 is to foster a flexible mindset. Encourage a culture where flexibility is valued, allowing teams to innovate and to respond to challenges and be effective. To learn continually, an adaptable leader prioritizes learning and growth, staying informed about new trends, technologies, and strategies. That's a big one. I think that if you get too comfortable where you're at and you're stagnant, then you kind of stop yourself from learning. So when new technology comes along, you struggle with it. Where I found a way that worked for me with that particular was whenever something new came out in my department, I would try to really do the training, like the learning training with it, and get familiar with it, even if I wasn't going to use it all the time. I felt, and then when someone came to me with a question about it, I had a better understanding of what the problem or the solution to that may be. Empower your team. Equipped your team with a tool and autonomy to make decisions, fostering adaptability at every level in your organization. I This is important also to not be a micromanager. You need to trust those around you, like myself. Being a police and also serving as an interim chief role, I cannot be everywhere. Be on patrol all the time. I cannot be there every time there's a case issue. So I had to put people that I could trust in certain positions strategically to ensure that those things got done. So you're really as strong as the people that you have around you, and you also have to mold leaders that you see may have good qualities but maybe need a push in a certain direction, so that way they become less dependent or codependent on you, and they can make decisions without you around, and good decisions without you around. Stay grounded. Core values. Adaptability is crucial. It's a equally to remain anchored in core values, ensuring that flexibility doesn't compromise integrity. That's a good one. I think that if you're like, for I'm just using the police for a lot of my experience, right? It's to help people, right? So that should be our ultimate help people, to protect people. If we start deviating too far from that, now we're only, we're strictly after criminals, and that's all we're doing, and we're taking the time to get to know our community and help people, then we're kind of feeding the purpose of what our original core value was. So that's just something to think about, something that can come up. And you can, whatever your job is, you calculated that. What were the core values, and have you guys deviated too far from them? Or, in anything, relationships is the same thing. Hey, our core, initially when we met, our core values were to make sure that we continue to date even within the relationship or the marriage or whatever. But do you still continue to do it, or have you strayed so far that now you've lost sight of that original goal and maybe you need to come back to it? 3 problem and solutions. Problem 1 is resistance to change. The solution is to implement change gradually and transparently, involving your team in the decision-making progress to increase buy-in and reduce resistance. So I think that's, what worked for me a lot was, whenever to implement certain changes, I just didn't implement it. I usually went and got feedback from different key people in the department that did worked in certain areas and did certain things, and I would get their feedback. If it sounded like a good idea, and they said that this would work or this would help them, then I would implement it. I didn't make my decisions in a vacuum. Basically, I wasn't just like, oh, I want to do this, let me just do it. So there was times where I would have a good idea, it would work, it would go through, and there was like, I don't know if this will necessarily work. And I always appreciate that feedback, and I was always open to it. I think what allowed me to have a good relationship with of the leadership around me, especially the people that I was like directly supervising and over, was because they knew they could come to me with the issue. I wasn't going to get offended if they didn't agree with me, disagree. I mean, they may have their reasons, I would have my reasons, but it wasn't a personal matter. And the next one is let me see, is overwhelmed overwhelmed with constant shifts. Solution: establish clear priorities and maintain a constant communication channel to help your team navigate changes without feeling overwhelmed. I think what they mean by constant shifts is that is the goal constantly changing. Like, I know people heard that they're moving the goalposts. Like, are you constantly getting told a different mission statement like every month? Like, hey, this way we're prioritizing um sales this month and next, and but then next month you're like, when you're getting into a good, maybe building up some momentum doing sales, and all of a sudden they're like, never mind, we're prioritizing customer service, and now you're doing that. So now I think the constant, if you shift too much, you can now not have a clear objective, and I think that sometimes causes issues with people where they get frustrated because now they're being told different things by different people. Another problem is a lack of innovation. Encourage a culture of continuous learning and creativity by providing opportunities for professional development and rewarding innovative ideas. So that's something I could tell you from experience. That's what I did. I always was looking for leaders in the group, even the unofficial leaders in the group, the people that were kind of, good or bad, the ones that had the voice that seemed to sway people, right? And they were the ones that I would usually have, conversations with, and be like, what are your concerns? Why do you feel the way you feel? What do you think is not being done correctly? And then when we get their buy-in, the first thing that I would do would be like, I have no problem addressing the issues that you want to address, but I also need you directly involved in addressing these issues. And 9 out of 10, they would get involved, and it would do twofold, right? They would have experience to address the issue and be able to make it better, but then they would also learn to see the other side from the management perspective, supervisor perspective, of like, okay, dang, this is not as easy as I thought. And a lot of times it gave them more empathy, more of an understanding of, like, you can't just flip things with the flip of a switch. But it also made them, I think, good leaders, in the sense of where they learn to now, it doesn't help to complain all the time, meetings or when it helps to have solutions. It helps to get involved, and if you don't want to get involved to put in the work, then you can't ultimately fix problems that you say you're having. A current event example: a current event illustrating the importance of adaptability is the ongoing evolution of remote work. Companies that adapted quickly to the remote work model during the pandemic continue to thrive, while those resistant to change struggle with productivity and employee satisfaction. Leaders embrace hybrid work models, invest in digital collaboration tools, and focus on employee well-being are setting the stage for future success. So I think what that comes down to is kind of that work life balance. I've heard both arguments. I heard some people that life balance. Like, you just have to, if you want to get the job done, you have to be there. And I've seen it the other way, where it's like, they're uh remote working, but they're not really doing their job. I think it's somewhere in the middle. I think that you need to be involved in your company enough to there's some kind of culture there, some time of face to face once in a while. But I do think in some jobs that you can probably get away with being remote, especially if it's just a lot of logistical things where you're not having face to face meetings. And law enforcement, that was not really a thing. And honestly, the guys that I saw were I want to say connected to law enforcement, like they were not in law enforcement, but some other capacity kind of it that did remote work. I would say a lot of animosity started developing between that, because there was times myself and experienced in myself where I would be at work, and the other people that are involved in these decisions, especially above me, were not available because they were remote working. And um, uh, in certain jobs, and I'll say in my job, and I'm pretty sure law enforcement, firefighter, the medical field, most of the time you're going to want to see a leader that is not directly involved, but that is there to have conversations, to make decisions if emergency situation comes up. um you want to be there, but not also be over everybody, in the sense of like you're just hovering over everybody's shoulder. It's a mix. I think it's a mix of a balance, but I think the pretty much the example that Kerman is making is like being adaptable to what works best for your company, your culture, your environment. And my closing summary is adaptability is no longer just a valuable trait, it's a necessity for effective leadership. In a world that constantly is changing, the ability to pivot, learn, and empower your team to do the same will set you apart as a true leader. Remember, the most successful leaders are those who remain flexible without losing sight of their core values. And that's ultimately what it always comes down to. Like, can you complete the mission and be flexible, but also not deviate from the original goal? And that can be difficult at times depending on the situation. But it's not just do whatever to get the mission complete. I think when you have that attitude to burn your guys out, or hey, well, I'm gonna work them to death. I've seen that. I've experienced it myself, where it's like there's no plan for the after effect. And what happens is you end up with a lot of guys that are burnt out, pissed off, not happy, because you've helped, I would say, your management, whatever, maybe reach their goals. What is the back? How does that now benefit the people that helped you get there? There's no benefit them doing that, and they feel like you just got that win. It somehow benefited you, and then you're off, off into the sunset with it. You're gonna have a lot of disgruntled people that you end up leaving behind, which ultimately leads to a bad culture and things like that. For more insights on leadership and adaptability and thriving in today's fast-paced world, make sure to support the Good Leader brand and tune into the Good Leader podcast for more valuable discussion and tips to elevate your leadership game. Don't miss our upcoming episodes and be part of a community that's committed to leading with strength and purpose. Me and my brother also do a podcast on Sundays. Call it Sunday Service. Right now we're reviewing the book Wild at Heart by John, I think it's Eldridge, and it has a lot to do with men, masculinity, faith, the Bible, what do you believe in, and that's a topic we're touching on. I'm also my good friend who's involved with the homeless and also involved with Skid Row Running Club out in LA. We're talking about maybe working on doing a one to two episodes a month, as far as with what he's doing, which is a elite performance recovery, which has to do with running, physical fitness, also recovery for addicts that are struggling with addictions, whether it be alcohol, drugs, mental health issues. He has a wealth of experience in that. He's working in LA helping people with that. So definitely it's something, it's a valuable insight to what's actually happening, because he's in LA, and anyone's ever been to LA, no, there's plenty of homeless people, so there's plenty of problems down there. I appreciate you tuning in. Like, comment, subscribe, support us. If you're interested in any merchandise that you see me wearing, Good Leader stuff, is the We Write at Dawn shirt. You can go to goodleader.shop and support us. I'm on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok, and I'll post up usually clips, and I'll post up the whole episodes on YouTube. So appreciate it. If you have any comments, go ahead and leave them. Like always open to constructive criticism, but I'm not gonna sit there and argue with people about not nonsense or whatever. That's not the purpose of this platform. Trying to spread leadership vibes, help men that are having mental health issues, or don't know how to deal with them, coming from being a dad, being a veteran, having a lot of experience in law enforcement, operating a business, being married, gone through divorce, been single, back to being, in a relationship, having a kid. That's the point of our message. We're not really here to spread negativity or anything like that. So don't take it like that. A lot of this is just my opinion. This is just my experience. If it helps you, it helps you. If it doesn't, it doesn't. but any support we get is greatly appreciated. Good leader out. I hope you have a good rest of your week. This is the midweek mastery. I'm gonna try to do this every week. That's why I'm calling it midweek, because I'm gonna try to have to fit into what whatever I'm doing somewhere in the middle of the week, and then get it to you guys as soon as I can edit it. But I appreciate it. Have a good day. Be strong. Be a good leader.